There, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to Scrapbooking from the Heart. And our theme this month is recreation. And we have a mood board, and it has this saying in it. It says, "Recreation and diversion are as necessary to our well being as the more serious pursuits of life." And that is like kind of what I took off of this mood board. It's got some camping pictures, like hiking and boating and stuff like that. But I kind of just documented a day that my husband and I went for a bike ride up the peninsula, and then we stopped at a Thai restaurant to eat at. And it brought back some nice memories because the Thai restaurant, we had been to it before when we went to a it wasn't dinner theater, a theater production of um, Peter and the Starcatcher. Is that what it's called? Um, yeah, anyway. So we had gone and eaten at this restaurant before, and we really enjoyed it. And so we revisited that, but just in the afternoon, after we did this big bike ride. And we have e-bikes, so we do both pedal all the time. We don't just hit the throttle and go. But this ride was supposed to be kind of like along the it's supposed to be one long trail, basically, and it kind of followed a little bit of the ocean for a portion of it. And we didn't realize that there were a ton of detours because they are putting in a new seawall in that area. And so there were so many detours. We didn't have any like ocean view from our riding or anything. We went through some neighborhoods. We went through some, I don't know, just different areas than we thought we would go through, but we found our way and we had fun. We did go through one area that was by an inlet at the bay, I guess is what it would be considered, and there's houses and stuff on one side and then the water on the other side. And so that's a picture of my husband riding. Now my phone is mounted to my handlebars, and so I'm able to just click the button to record or to take a photo, and so that's how I'm able to get those photos rather than trying to manage my phone and ride my bike at the same time. So it was very helpful. Now, for this layout, it was really helpful that a lot of those food photos, it didn't matter which direction I put them on this layout. I could put them either vertical or horizontal because the way that I took the photos, or he took the photos, was kind of like a top-down look, and so it didn't really matter. So it made it so that I was able to kind of do this kind of geometric, really balanced layout where I've got the two portrait style ones closest to the center, and then I work my way out with three different landscape style photos on each side. And so the paper I'm using in the very background is from Amy Tangerine's Brave and Bold, and then that floral paper that I am using is actually from Altenew. And I basically I just bought a couple of sheets of it just because I liked the back of it, which had a stripe on it that's kind of similar, not exactly the same, but it's similar colors as the background sheets that I'm using for this layout. But I thought that the floral looked really nice with the Amy Tangerine paper just because it's got all the same colors in it, and just that lime green just looks really good. So then I went to my silhouette. I found two other pieces of paper that I thought would work well for these circles to go around these other circles. So I'm putting some rings around the circles, and I'm using like a Maggie Holmes paper. And then I think the other one is, it's a good question who that turquoise one is from. Let's see here. Do I have any of it left? I do. It's from Illustrated Faith, and it's like one of their fall collections from quite a while back. And so it's probably not even available anymore. So I got that down. I glued them down. I wanted some rings around it, but once I got it down, I didn't like it. And so luckily I had a third piece of this background paper, and I left this in so that you can see in real life I actually do take things off when I don't like it, and sometimes things don't work out as perfectly as you might think they would. I think what was happening was that the rings around it were it left gaps in between the rings because they were different sizes, which is what I had intended, but I didn't like the way that it looked because there's so many lines in that background paper. It made everything look disjointed because you could see those lines in between the rings. Hopefully that makes sense. Um, so it looked disjointed. I didn't like how it looked. So I basically pulled out a new sheet of that background paper, cut my black paper to be the same size because I know I'm going to use the same layout, just in reverse or mirror image of it. And I was able to go ahead and do that, just recreate it. Now, I couldn't use the paper that I already had, because I stuck the rings down with liquid glue and there was no pulling that off once it was on. So I just said, you know what, chalk it up to uh, an error, and I can still use that paper just for something else, just not in its full sheet. So we're just going to go with it. Sometimes that happens. So now you can tell I have like a light green ring around the bottom one and a dark green ring around the top one. And I'm just going to do the reverse, and I am just going to add a light green ring to the top one. And I've already added a dark green ring around the bottom one so that it brings both colors to those areas. Now I have this sticker sheet, it just happened to be in front of me in my bin. It is from my mind's eye. It has a bicycle on it, so I thought that was perfect. It's also the exact same colors, except it also brings in pink, which the inside of those flowers on that Altenew paper are all pink. So I thought that's perfect. I'll just go ahead and use that. I am popping that up onto some foam tape to give some added dimension, and I'm going to play with where I want that on my layout. I also have that acrylic word that says joy in the bottom right hand corner there. I'm going to use that as well. I'm just going to play around with where I want that also because it's white, and so with a large amount of white in the background with the stripes and with those florals, I'm going to have to kind of figure that out. In the meantime, I am just pulling out some stickers that I think will work, and I'm going to pop those up onto some foam. And while I do that, I'll let you know that there's a lot of people playing along with Scrapbooking from the Heart and with our monthly hop. And so go check those people out. They are listed down below in my description box, and there'll be a whole bunch of inspiration. This hop is a little bit more journaling heavy. I am going to do some journaling on here. It's not going to be a lot of journaling, but it's going to be basically talk about how it is really important that we do spend time together, doing things that are fun outside of the house and outside of like the day-to-day stuff. And so, and this is one of the fun things that we did, even though there were a lot of detours. We were both kind of like, are you sure you're like, you want to keep going, or, being sensitive to one another, as in the fact that like, okay, our plans have now changed. Are you okay with that? You still want to keep going? We actually had a really great day and we really enjoyed it. And we were both kind of like, you know what? It's just an adventure. And in fact, at one point there was a construction area that had like a broken fence, and we kind of went through it and cut across so that we could avoid probably like 5 miles off of our trip just to get back to the parking lot where we were parked at. There were a lot of other people in there fishing and doing all kinds of like hanging out and stuff. But so we were just like, okay, we're just going to go and cut across. And there was actually no construction going on or anything, so it wasn't a big deal. So you can see that I just altered the word joy. I used a turquoise Sharpie, or a teal Sharpie, and brought that color in. And then I had some packaging that has like a turquoise grid on it, and that is what I'm going to use for my journaling area. I'm going to ink it up with some Distress ink in black soot, and I am just going to go ahead. I'm cutting the corner off there because the circles are glued down, and I want to kind of like squish it over so it looks like it comes from under the circle a little bit. So that's why I kind of trim that corner down. I can get it under the outer ring, but I can't get it underneath the next ring. So you can't tell that it is cut off, but it does allow it to kind of like squish over towards that circle a little bit more. And then I'm pulling in these two little stickers above and below the word joy. The top one says one of a kind, so it's going to actually read one of a kind joy. And then the bottom one says let's go. And I thought those were perfect for this particular occasion. We just had a good day. It was during kind of a heat wave in our area. It was like in the upper 90s near our house, but because we went up the peninsula and more coastal, it was like in the 70s, and it was much nicer. And so we ended up riding, I think, 23 miles. And we hadn't really intended to go for that long. But like I said, all of the detours kind of created this weird route that we took. And yeah, in order to get back, we kind of detoured again and made a wrong turn. And that's why we ended up having to cut through some of the areas that we wouldn't normally. And actually, the furthest right photo, it actually says, oh my goodness, it says that the route is closed basically. And so it says trail closed. And so we just had to kind of keep working around. Now I'm using just some glue dots, or actually these are Zots. It's the Zots Bling, so it's the really small ones, to hold that acrylic piece in place. And both of the stickers above and below are popped up onto some foam as well. And the piece that says nice job is also up onto some foam. And I did fussy cut out the remaining flowers that were in the leftover pieces of that Altenew paper, and I tucked those in and around the rings, and I think that looks really nice. It kind of softens up the layout and brings something different to it. And because we were at a Thai restaurant, I thought it all fit really well together. I don't know what kind of flowers those are, but it just kind of softens it up, and I really like the way that it looks. I also like that the lime green really mimics the drink that is in the photos. So that was one of the big reasons that I chose that background paper, is because of that drink that I had on the table there. And I thought it worked very well with that. So also those stripes kind of remind me of like racing stripes, and it gives a little bit of movement to it. And now I did pull out my black matte black enamel dots from Gina Marie, and I'm just putting a few of those down to draw a little bit more interest and give a little bit more depth to the layout. And that is pretty much it. So I hope that you enjoyed this layout, and I do have the journaling on there. I'm not going to read it all out because it's basically what I've already said, that we took all these detours, but we had a great day, and that it's really important that we take this time together and just enjoy and be in the moment, because a lot of times we are not. The day-to-day life gets kind of crazy, and it's great to share these excursions that are a little bit off the beaten path. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye-bye.